Welcome back to Sunny Side Up. It is unfortunately an issue we're hearing more and more about in our youth. We're talking about eating disorders in our kids. Joining us live on the show to talk more about this now is Dr. Mark Warren with the Case Western Reserve School of Medicine. And you're here to tell us about the signs that parents can easily spot in their kids if they might be having an eating disorder.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me here. I think we do want to talk about the signs. I would say it's actually not that easy. So I think for parents, it's something we really have to pay attention to. The kids who get eating disorders often have their behaviors in secret.
Yeah.
So that the behaviors we think of about restricting their intake or exercising too much or starting to eliminate foods from their diets actually sometimes happen in secret before they come out in full bloom. So if a parent sees their kid say, I'm going to become a vegan, okay, 11-year-olds don't usually become vegans. If a parent sees their kid wanting to exercise a couple hours a day, if a kid is saying, I'm going to skip that meal or I'm not going to eat that food, if they start talking about good foods and bad foods, things like that. For the most part, if you are a child, you should not lose weight. If you look at growth curves, we remember our own growth as kids, kids' weight doesn't go down. So if you have a child and their weight starts going down, that's a great concern.
So at what point does, parents want their kids to be healthy, right? So initially if your child is saying, well, I'm going to go work out, I'm going to go for a run, that doesn't seem like a cause for concern, but you're suggesting parents just stay a little bit more alert.
Yeah, exactly. When we work with the kids, and at the Emily program we do a lot of work with kids because the eating disorders actually are diseases of adolescence. Often people don't get treatment till they're adults, and we sometimes think of these in the images we have out of Hollywood, et cetera, of people in their 20s or 30s struggling with eating disorders. But in fact, eating disorders start during the adolescent years. Not every kid's going to get an eating disorder. Lots of kids exercise. Most kids who do exercise, most kids who have these behaviors are okay. But there are some kids who are susceptible. And there are some kids who are born with a genetic profile, born with a neurobiological way that they are. They're highly perfectionistic. They may be a lot of self-judgment. There may be certain things going on that when they get exposed to these types of behaviors, the exercise behaviors, the restrictive behaviors, they may fall down that rabbit hole. So it's not so much is the kid doing it, it's are they falling deeply into it.
Where do outside influences come in? I'm always curious about what could be happening in the school that could be influencing a kid's behavior at home. So do you see where bullying might be the case where someone begins to develop some type of an eating disorder?
Yeah, I think if you're susceptible to an eating disorder, school actually is the most dangerous place for you. The studies on this, and again, it's not the easiest thing to study, but the studies on it tend to show that peer comments are the single biggest trigger that kids refer to. Kids do get bullied. Kids talk endlessly about weight. Again, it's so deep in our culture. Kids get teased on this. So there's all sorts of things actually that do happen in the school environment. And so again, that may be one of the reasons why for a parent, the vigilance has to be a little bit higher because these things may be happening out of sight.
So where can parents go to get help or more information if they are thinking and watching right now, maybe my child is going through something like this?
Well, they can certainly go to our website, which is EmilyProgram.com, and we have a fairly long segment. There's also a number of other great websites they can utilize. National Eating Disorder Association has a terrific website. There are places to go. So I think certainly that would be a place to start. I think people should always call their pediatrician first if they're looking for professional advice. Your pediatrician knows your child since they were born.
They know.
They have a long-term piece. So I think that's where you get started.
All right, great advice right there.